Okay, so welcome again. I'm really happy to see you. What about the last lessons? Have you had the chance to read the last part of the missing test? Were you curious? Did you read it? What was the end of Judith's life? Lara?
Yeah, I read it, and if I remember correct, Shakespeare's sister killed herself, something like that. I think
Yes.
that was the end.
Yeah, so do you remember we were speaking about the marriage? She didn't want to marry the neighbor's son, and for this reason, she did something very brave. She packed her stuff and she decided to escape, okay, and to leave her house. And then what does she do? The first thing that comes to her mind is finding a job, okay? Let's see if the world outside is waiting for me, and let's see if what my parents, okay, think about the impossibility for me to work in theaters is true, right? And she meets a person. Have you read about that? She meets a man.
Yeah, she met a man, but I don't remember correctly.
Okay, yes.
I think she was deceived by this man, something like that.
Yes, at the beginning, this person was in charge of organizing shows and theaters and exhibitions. And it's interesting because Virginia Woolf has this comment saying that man recognizes something familiar in the face of Judith. And it was the traits of Shakespeare's face. Okay, so he identified them as sister and brothers, as siblings, right? But he goes, no, men can work here, women, they can't work here, okay? So it is like excluding completely, okay, her from the different possibilities of working in theaters. And what does she do? She wanders around, she doesn't know what to do. And finally, as Lara just said, she was completely deceived by these men. She got pregnant. And at that point, what happens? Sarah, have you read something?
No, I don't read it.
Okay.
No,
What about the other? No worries. Next time you can read it and you can give us some comments. Lucilla, did you read the final part of Judith's sister, of Shakespeare's sister?
I read only the first half.
Okay.
2 times, but I don't all the.
Not all the part. Okay. Was it difficult, or didn't you have a lot of time to translate and focus on that?
Yes, a bit difficult, but okay. Not. I understand what. Yes.
Okay, because with a little bit of context, I think that with a good dictionary, you can translate well and understand perfectly. Okay, Ilenia, did you read it?
Not yet, because yesterday I had an exam, so I studied a lot for this.
Okay, are you still waiting for the results, or do you already know what's the end?
No, I passed it.
You passed it, okay, yeah. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so if you read, okay, and this is a good exercise, what are you going to discover? That when she gets pregnant, she finally realizes that her dreams are completely end, okay? She has no more possibilities, no hopes, and for this reason, she finds her life being in front of a kind of arrest. She can't be a writer anymore, and she can't be happy anymore. And this is the ending, right? Being completely stuck in a life that is not the life you were hoping for, you were struggling for. And this is the ending, okay? She kills herself. And you remember I told you we have something about the biography of Virginia Woolf inside Judith, okay? So some similarities, depression, sadness, and the final decision, okay, killing yourself, suiciding. Did you like Virginia Woolf? Did you enjoy last lesson? Was it interesting, surprising?
Yes, interesting.
Okay. And let me know if you have the chance to watch the film, okay? If you have the chance to watch the film, then I would please to receive your comments, okay? If you like it, any surprise. Okay, the second topic The second topic of this laboratory is Nathaniel Hawthorne, and the title of the book is The Scarlet Letter, okay, La lettera scarlatta. But again, before analyzing the book, let's create some sort of context, okay? Maria Cinzia, okay. Let's read the first slide. Can you see my first slide? Maria Cinzia, is your microphone working?
What springs to your mind when looking at these pics?
Okay, so springs to your mind is another way to say what comes to your mind, okay? Springs to your mind, comes to your mind, identical phrases, okay? So what is the first thing that you think when looking at this picture? Maria Cinzia, just describing the picture, not knowing the context, just a very quick description.
There are the people then burning the book.
Okay, and so in one picture we have a burning, okay, pile of books, and on the other picture we have some people throwing, lanciano, throwing, okay, books into a fire. Do you know who are these people? Do you recognize anything, any details in the picture? Do they do they look like normal people?
No, it's not a normal people.
Yes.
Soldiers.
Yes.
Soldiers. And
yes.
Nazis.
Yes,
people.
Nazi, correct.
Nazi.
Yes, well done. Okay, we can recognize the uniform. We can recognize a rifle. Do you know what is a rifle?
Yeah, it's mitra.
Yes, rifle, fucile, in this case, okay, mitra. So yes, so we recognize some details, okay, the hat, the helmet, typical of soldiers' uniform. And then, of course, we have, so the helmet.
Helmet and
rifle, okay, fucile, the uniform, okay, so this is what we recognize, the signals, okay, that make us understand that this is a group of Nazi soldiers, okay, Nazi soldiers. Who knows the history? Do you know the history of this event?
Yeah, it was during the during the, I don't know, maybe before the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they were in Bebelplatz in Berlin, and they made this huge fire in order to burn all the taboo books, the books that were taboo for them. So, yeah.
Do you know what is a bonfire? A bonfire, un falò, okay? Okay, yeah, so a bonfire. So in this case, okay, it was organized, this huge bonfire, but not only in one place, all around. And the order was, let's burn all the books that we consider as a government prohibited, okay?
Okay.
What do you think about this form of government? How can we call this type of decision? So taking the books and burn them.
Like an extreme and
okay, extreme, yes.
And for me, uncivilized.
Okay, so completely far away from what is the real meaning of civilization. Okay, so totalitarianism, right? This form of government is when you have dictatorship, giusto? Dictatorship.
Yeah.
And this is the clear example of censorship. What is censorship? Do you know what's the meaning of censorship?
No.
Yeah, censura.
Censura.
Censura, well
Okay.
done, okay? So to censor means that you prohibit completely specific information or specific rights, okay? So it's taking away the rights, okay? Taking away the rights. Can you give me some examples of rights that can be censored?
Press.
Okay,
Right.
yes.
And then
So right of speech, right?
Right
La
of
libertà, freedom of speech. What else?
Education.
Yes. We can violate, okay, the education, saying from this moment, okay, this is not anymore a privilege, it's not a right. So education is something that is not permitted anymore. What else?
Health.
Health, okay, so we can sorry for the new keyboard. So health, meaning that from this moment later on, the government is not providing any more free health, okay, but it must be paid and you have to take up an insurance. So this is the type of different rights and privileges that a government can remove, okay, from the citizen. Work, yes, okay, so we can say employment.
Employment.
Yes, very good. So these are different types of ways of censorship. Let's go to the second one, okay, to the second slide. And we have a quotation from the famous Oscar Wilde. Ilenia, could you please read the quotation for us?
Yes. The books that the world was immoral are the book that show the world its own shame.
Okay. Could you please try a translation for us? What can be a good translation for this important quote?
I libri che il mondo chiamano immorali sono i libri che ci mostrano la sua vergogna.
Esatto, ok, so i libri considerati, chiamati, reputati immorali sono quegli stessi libri che poi mostrano al mondo la propria vergogna, la sua vergogna. So this is again another picture, okay, that is in reality what the other one was only a drawing. In this case we have a photograph, and Oscar Wilde is speaking about immoral, okay, immorality. What is morality for you? What is moral? Can you give me a definition of moral? Is it objective? Is it subjective?
Maybe
Subjective.
both objective and subjective too.
Okay, so both. Okay, for you, Lucilla, morality is something that can be objective and subjective. For example, murder, killing a person. Is it subjective? Is it objective? Do we have all the same idea about killing people?
It's immoral.
Okay, it's immoral, but if we speak with a criminal, with a serial killer, maybe the idea or the answer would be completely different, okay?
Yes.
So do you know why Oscar Wilde was speaking about immoral books? Do you know what's the background? Why is he fighting against readers and criticism for his immoral books?
Maybe books that told about homosexuality. No?
Yes, exactly. Oscar Wilde, okay, was himself a homosexual, and he had to go through a trial, okay, un processo, a trial, because of the accusation of sodomy. He was writing The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it was considered to be an immoral book because it talks about sexuality, it talks about even murders, okay? So for this reason, he was saying, in the world, immoral books don't exist. When you consider something immoral, it's because it is talking about something that is reality. So if this shocks you, it's your problem, okay? It's not my problem. You have to understand what is reality. So he was very strong, okay, in judging people that themselves were judging him, okay? So he was very brave. And my question for you is, To what extent do you agree with the writer? Do you agree with the writer? Do you think that when we judge a book as immoral, it is because it is kind of shocking, it is speaking about something that is not acceptable by the society?
Yeah, I agree.
Can you give me some examples? What can be considered immoral by a person who is narrow-minded, maybe? Narrow-minded, are you familiar with this term?
Yeah.
Narrow-minded is
Stretto di...
yes,
La mentalità chiusa.
the opposite
Opposite?
of open-minded.
Yes, exactly. If you are narrow-minded, okay, you don't accept very well changes, okay, different opinions. You're quite traditional, old-fashioned, okay, some synonyms. Okay, Lara, we were speaking about something that may consider immoral nowadays in our society. What is immoral?
Immoral. Well, for some part of people, maybe the oldest one, the homosexuality is still an immoral thing, considered as an immoral thing.
Yes.
And I don't know what else.
Okay, this is a good example. So we are speaking about a book written in the century, okay, some centuries ago. And what we discover is that still people reading books about homosexuality can be surprised and shocked and consider these abominous, okay? So this is still valid nowadays. Any other examples of immoral?
Erotic literature.
Literature, yes, okay, immoral. This is considered immoral, so it's disgusting. What is the book about? This is not valid quality literature. So still people having these ideas, old-fashioned ideas about erotic, okay, and this type of literature. Okay, very good. Anything else? Immoral. What about, for example, a woman who doesn't want to have children? For some people, this is not acceptable. Have you ever heard of any comments like that?
Every day.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
So a woman who doesn't feel, okay, this instinct of being a mother, this is not immoral, like terrible, but not accepted, okay? So people saying, but what about your self-realization if you don't have children? So this is immoral, okay? Going against the morality, going against the stigma of this society. Anything else considered immoral?
Okay, like abortion.
Yes, abortion, okay, the voluntary abortion for some people is how can it be natural? How can a woman, okay, refuse and reject something that is a gift from God? And again, we have to link sometimes, I don't know if you agree, morality with religion. Do you agree? There is a strong bond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think there is a difference between morality and ethically.
Ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Maybe moral is more linked with God instead of ethic is something different for me.
Yes, I agree with you. When I think about morality, I think about actions. What can I do? What I can't do? And then what's the judgment after my behavior, after my choices? When I speak about ethic, I think about a set of values, something more theoretical. So what are my ideas and how do I apply those ideas? So I agree with you. Something is ethical, something can be moral. Sometimes they are completely different, sometimes they coexist. So I agree with you. I was also thinking, yes, Sarah, please.
Maybe immoral is also killing herself, but sometimes is the only way for the person.
Yes, very good. When we hear news about suicide, sometimes the idea of suicide is killing, taking your life. And this is something that according to religion is similar to a crime. Okay, so for some societies, suicide can be considered immoral. And the last example, and tell me if
can I see the use of drugs?
Okay, very good. Drugs, okay, addictions, okay, le dipendenze, addictions
yes.
are immoral. So sometimes we exclude from this society, we exclude from our life people who are drug addicted because we consider this immoral, against morality. Other two examples. What about a woman? Because usually it doesn't apply with men, but what about a woman who is having a relation outside the marriage? Is this immoral?
I think always if we connect this thing with religion or with rules from society, maybe, or from a community, even more if the community is small, you know, if it's a small community, then maybe considered an immoral thing.
Okay, so remember this word community, okay? So stick community to your mind because we are discussing about community. Maria Cinzia?
Yes.
So let's create an example, okay? So we have a woman in the 50s, okay? In the 50s, not nowadays. So this woman, let's say that she doesn't have her husband anymore because maybe the husband went away, but they couldn't divorce, okay? So they're still married, but she is living alone, okay? Because the husband has gone away and they don't have any kind of contacts, okay?
No, Gloria, scusami, ma ho la linea disturbatissima. Sento metà di quello che dici. Volevo provare a spostare.
Ok, quindi quando sei pronta ce lo
Scusate
dici.
perché... Grazie.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so let's create this example, right? So this woman is still married because divorce is not possible, but the husband has left her, okay? And then the years pass and she finds a new love and she has a baby with this new man. What's the opinion of the community? She lives in a small village. What do you think could be the possible comments on the behavior of this woman?
In 15, maybe negative.
Negative comments, right? This is immoral. You are
Yes.
still married, okay? Doesn't care, okay? Doesn't care if your husband has left you. You're still married, right? Why finding a new love? Why starting a new relation? Do we all agree that the comments would be terrible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you give me examples of typical behavior of the community? Let's say that you see this woman, okay, walking around with a baby. What would be the behavior? What would be the comments? Let's imagine that we are the community.
She was not a good woman.
Okay, perfect. So offense, right? A lot of offensive comments. What else?
And maybe she would be isolated.
Okay, exclusion and isolation. Very good.
And also, sadly, for the baby.
Yes.
Yes, consequences even for the baby. Think about all the nicknames, okay? Think about all the offenses, okay, for this little baby born outside a real marriage, right? Born outside a bond, okay, that is not existing because, of course, she is still married. Okay, so this is a lot, right? So speaking about community, speaking about morality, thinking about and speaking about the different behaviors. Okay, let's go here. We have a number. Do you know what's this number?
Fahrenheit.
Yes, okay, so this is the number and it expresses a measure. Do you know what's the measure Fahrenheit?
The temperature.
Temperature.
Yes, it's a measure, okay, to calculate temperature. In some countries we use degrees Celsius, okay, and we use Fahrenheit. So this is a specific measure, it's a specific number. 451 is the temperature needed to burn paper. Okay. So at this temperature, paper burns by itself. Is it clear why did I put this number in connection to the first slides?
Because of the book, Fahrenheit?
Yeah, because of
because of the
running
books,
the book.
right? And also because this is the title of a book, okay? And this book talks about censorship. And it takes place in dystopic near future. Are you familiar with the word dystopic?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of
Real.
real. Yes, it's the opposite of utopic. Okay, so when we have the word utopia, right, it comes from the Latin, and we have the suffix and the prefix, in this case eu, that means beautiful. Topos refer to the place, so when we have utopia, we have a beautiful place. And of course, this beautiful place usually doesn't exist, okay? It's an imagination. It's something that we create as the perfect idealization of a place. So this topic means the opposite, a terrible place. A novel, a book that speaks about...
A negative vision of the future.
Yes, a perfect negative vision, okay, negative imagination. In this period, okay, in the 19th, we have a lot of different dystopic novels speaking about imagining the future and having this distorted idea of the future. Any ideas of other books apart from Fahrenheit 451? Any other dystopic novels?
Oh, 1984 from George Orwell.
Yes, Orwell. Okay. Yes, he speaks about this big brother watching and controlling the population, numbers given instead of names to people, complete control and manipulation of behavior, thoughts, even controlling the thoughts of people. Okay. And another one that I really recommend is Zamyatin is a Russian writer, and he wrote this book called As, okay, si intitola Noi, okay, di Zamyatin, and it is a very powerful book about dystopic novel, okay, speaking about the future. So in this Fahrenheit, we have books considered illegal. Okay, so when a book is considered illegal, what happens? He is the main character, Guy Montag, and he is a fireman. Usually, what's the idea of a fireman? What are the tasks of a fireman in our society?
People that helps other people.
Okay.
And Spaniard, I don't know the big fire.
Yes. Okay.
So the forest, houses, cities.
Perfect. Okay. So the idea of a fireman is
a positive person. Yes.
Yes. Put out, se volete usare estinguere. Okay. Put out a fire.
Put out. Okay.
Okay, yeah, so usually the fireman is a very good profession, right, with positive tasks and supportive, helping, caring, gentle, so helping people and using his competencies to solve situations. In this case, we have this guy, he is a fireman, and his job is the opposite. He and his crew has to burn every last book he can find. Okay, so he is on a mission. Every book you find, every legal book you find, burn it, okay? No other thoughts, just do your job, okay? And this is the idea of the book. So why am I speaking about this? Because we are speaking about immoral books, illegal books, something that must not be read by the audience, okay? This is the book, okay? Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury. Okay, so if you're curious, you can read this book. Okay. So what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics that may cause a book to be banned or censored? Now, you work for the government, okay, in a dystopic world. You are terrible and cruel politicians. Tell me, what are the characteristics that may cause a book to be banned or censored?
If the book is against the government.
Okay, exactly. So if we have free speech in one country and we want to apply a regime of totalitarianism, then the first thing is getting rid, eliminating all the books that go against our government. Okay, so if a book speaks about politics, and the politics described is not the good compliments, okay, to our government, then let's ban the book. What else? So
But,
going against.
I think that the book is banned or
Censored.
Also because is out of the politically correct.
Okay, okay. So
And,
it's not politically correct.
It's not politically correct, but is in generally not only political. When come si dice offendere?
Offend, when it offends.
When it's offend any more any person.
All the people.
All the people. May offend, possono offendere.
Yes, may offend. It's
may
correct.
Offend,
it's correct.
May offend the gay. May offend the baby. May offend the animals. May offend come si può dire, the vegetariani.
Okay, yes, vegans or vegetarians people.
Vegetarians or all class of people, particularly
Yes,
class.
yes. So you're speaking about a society organized into different groups that share the same characteristics, right? So people who hate meat, vegetarians, people who have a different sexual orientation, different according to personal ideas, okay, because we can't speak about different, what is different. But yes, I agree with you. We can censor a book because it talks about, in a negative way, about a special group of people, okay, with particular group of people, but also speaking about animals. If a book says you have to go outside and kill all the stray dogs, do you know what is a stray dog?
Randagio.
Randagio. Okay, so if I publish a book in which I write that all these stray dogs must be killed, this must be banned, right? This must be censored because it goes against ethics and morality. Any other examples of causes?
Yes. Maybe when the books contains themes that help the people to see other culture, other world, and the government has fear of this type of open mind.
Yes, very good. If you think about Korea, if you watch documentaries about the life in different places where we still have dictatorship, it's not possible for any citizen, okay, to read books that talk about United States, the American culture, right? They can't see any kind of Hollywood films because this may be a good way for persuading, convincing people that their political government is not good. So as Sarah was saying, the government is scared because when a person is able to freely express idea or to think freely about decisions, then that is the moment in which that person starts questioning the government, okay? So you can't control them anymore. Very good. Any other ideas, reasons to ban or censor a book?
Against the book against of religion.
Okay.
The religion Musulmani.
Yes, Muslims. Yes.
The book with then told of Maometto.
Yes.
The book when told of God is censored or banned.
Yes, religion, right, is another important topic in specific countries where religion is still driving, imposing rules, okay, on the society. If we have, let's speak about Muslim countries, okay, where the religion is very strong and part of the society. If a person publishes a book saying that the religion, okay, is not good, or there are problems, or you don't have to use religion when interacting in this society, then I think that that book would be immediately banned, okay, and censored. Any other ideas?
Books that discover something about economics, cioè comportamenti economicamente scorretti.
Okay, yes, so the reports, the researches, okay, for example, where all our money go when we pay taxes, okay, so scandals, briberies. Yes. So this is when a book reveals some secrets, okay, some plots, some conspiracies, then that book is immediately banned, okay, because we don't want people to know what's happening, okay, in the world. Okay, so this is a link, okay, after the lesson you can click on that and you can find out what are the most important books. You have a rank of 10 that have been in all history, in all countries, be banned or censored, okay? So if you are curious, you can discuss and discover what are the typical books. And this is a list. I don't know if you are surprised, but number one, we have Harry Potter. Harry Potter has been banned, okay? So we're not speaking about the past, okay? Like 20 years ago. And this has been banned for, let's read the reason, promoting witchcraft and unchristian values. It now has the distinction of being the most banned books in the United States. What do you think about this censors?
It's completely opposite, I think. Yeah, because it's clearly when you read the book that the writer J.K. Rowling is Christian, because she talks about souls and what happens after life. So for me, it's the opposite of unchristian values.
Yes, it's completely crazy. And in here we have Department of Magical Law Enforcement, okay, because if you read the book, you will find that there is a Ministry of Administration of Law. And in this case, okay, like, he looks like a criminal, right? Yeah. So Harry Potter completely banned, okay, for this reason. Then number 2, we have this one, okay, the title is Alaska Young Looking for Alaska, and it's a very new book, okay, very modern. The audience of this book is almost teenagers, okay, it's not for adults, but I think that it's very difficult to classify the audience of books. I mean, when you are interested in the topic, there's no need of selecting the age, but it has been banned for strong language, drug use, sexually explicit situations, okay? We spoke about this right at the beginning of the lesson. Drugs, strong language, so offense, and references to sexuality. So again, she is the protagonist. There is also a TV series about Alaska. And if you read that, you will discover that, of course, you have strong language. Of course, you have drug use, but why not talking about reality? And this is the idea. The books that the world calls immoral are the books that show the world its own shame, right?
Yeah.
And then number 2, our Hester. So this is Hester, the protagonist of the Scarlet Letter. Banned for the book has been called pornographic and obscene, yet there is no sex in the book. So I want you to reflect on that. If you read the book, it's very long, very thick. You won't find a single reference to sex. So the book doesn't speak about sex. Even when Hester has a baby, there are no references to how, okay, she had the baby. And The reality is that the book has been banned because of the plot. Hester, the protagonist, this lady, is having an adulterous, so outside the marriage, affair. Affair stands for love relation with Arthur. And then this results into a pregnancy. Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, with the things we were talking before. So
yes, okay.
yeah,
A lady.
the imaging of the lady with the baby.
Okay, so a lady having a baby, she was married. We will see now the plot. She has a baby and the baby is outside the marriage, and for this reason, ban, okay, completely for many, many years. Okay, Sara, would you please like to read these?
Yes. Io lì ho lo schermetto tuo, se vai un pochino più su, ecco, perfetto, grazie.
Okay.
Once again, the Youth Services Department has done as an awesome display, display for Banned Books Week. It might be hard to tell, but all the characters have a reason for why some organizations somewhere tried or did ban them.
Okay, stop for a second. So this is the Youth Service Department, okay? So this is an organization. And in this organization, every week, they try to create a display, okay? Mostra, una vetrina, with all the books that have been banned by different organizations. So you have the organization, for example, that defends the right of homosexual people. You have the organization that defends the rights of children. So sometimes this organization publish a list of illegal or censored or banned books. And the Youth Service is ironically displaying the reason why some books have been banned, okay?
Okay.
Sara, please.
Okay. The books also have a short description as to why they were banned.
Okay.
From the left, okay.
Yes, go ahead, because now the description is explaining the picture and I'm just pointing what's happening. So the first one is from left to right.
Mamma mia.
Sara, we have Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, excuse me. From the left to right, Winnie the Pooh banned because talking animals is an insult to God.
Okay, so yes, if you read here, okay, it is banned because talking animals are an insult to God. Okay, so this is the reason why in some countries they have banned Winnie the Pooh. What do you think?
Does it sound
crazy? Does it sound? But again, I always laugh, but I also try to be respectful of our other societies, other cultures, because as I don't want other cultures to judge my life and to judge my society, I try to do the same. So I'm just having a laugh, okay? And I try to figure out the reason why they should ban Winnie the Pooh, but like, this
but also cartoons, are being banned.
Yes. The animation, yes, they don't want people and children to watch the film.
Topolino is in the first.
Yes, because all the Disney characters, when we have animals, they speak like the Lion King, thinking about Pocahontas. Okay, so we have speaking animals, so it sounds really crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go to the second one, Sara, please.
Wizard of Oz banned for depicting, which the mean?
Depicting, rappresentare, representing.
Okay. Depicting women in strong leadership roles.
Ok, so we have
scusa Gloria, potrebbe essere dipingere la donna, cioè come
dipingere, sì, puoi usare depicting, rappresentare, dipingere, perfetto, la donna in strong leadership roles, ok, so in the Wizard of Oz, as she is the leader, she is carrying these different elements around to find the Wizard of Oz. No, too much, okay, a woman can't be in a strong leadership role, and for this reason, censored, banned. What do you think?
Wow.
Shocking. I was shocked,
Yes.
and I thought it was
course.
kind of interesting, okay, to put these images and to discuss with you. Okay,
Yes.
let's go to the next one, Lorax.
The Lorax banned because it is criminalized the forest industry.
Okay, so this is a book again for children, a children's story, and ban for criminalizing the forestry industry. Okay, so here you have lobbies, okay, saying this is our job. We don't want books speaking about the forestry industry in a negative way. So again, children books, okay, be banned. Let's go to the next one. This is very famous. I don't know if you know this or have you ever seen this image before?
No.
Okay,
No,
but
no,
okay, just to type and Google, because you will find a very interesting world of illustrations and children books that I think are very powerful. Okay, Sara, where the wild things are?
Sì, puoi salire un pochino,
Yes.
per favore? Grazie. Perfetto,
Oh,
perfetto.
sorry, too much. Okay.
Okay. Where the wild things are, banned for being too scary.
Too scary, right? Monsters are too scary. So I think, okay, that you have, if you are an illustrator, you have to pay attention to not representing a monster too scary, because you can risk your book to be banned. Okay. And the last one, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. Read the definition of Diary of Anne Frank.
Frank, banned for being too depressing.
Okay, too depressing. Okay, we need happy books. We don't need depressing books as this diary.
But if the monster is not scary, is not a monster.
Yes, this is what sounds ridiculous about these decisions. I think that this youth service department did a great job, because they didn't put any judgment, okay, in the decisions of the different governments. They just highlighted how ridiculous, okay, how pointless is the decision of giving a label, etiquetare, labeling, okay, the different books with these comments. What's your opinion? What do you think?
I think that would be interesting, interesting to know what government decided to ban the.
Okay. So you would be interested in
when.
Okay, so
where
yes.
and when.
Yeah, so when I will send the slides, I will also copy the link where you have this article, so you can research a little bit and find this information. Okay.
But excuse me, in Italy, there is the book that told the difference of genere.
Yes.
The differenze di genere.
Yes, gender differences.
Gender difference is banned.
Yes, so it's
but not only writing a book, also the cartoon book.
Yes, animations or comics, fumetti, comics.
No, io adesso te lo dico in italiano perché per me è una cosa molto, molto interessante. Io faccio educatrice anche dei ragazzi, e ci hanno fatto vedere dei libri dove per esempio esistono delle palle, no? Delle palle per far vedere come l'unione dei genitori, delle cose. Allora c'erano delle bolle, ma per bambini piccolissimi, insomma, delle bolle di colorate, che dopo mischiandosi, unendosi, formano un nuovo colore, quindi la gialla, la blu, che insieme diventa verde. Ecco, questi libri sono considerati fuorilegge dallo Stato italiano, perché offendono le differenze di genere. e non sono scritti, sono solo disegnati, ma
Okay,
neanche
so
con
illustrations, only illustrations, but sometimes illustrations are more powerful than writing because pictures are immediate, right? You just take a look and you understand the message. It's like art, it's like graffiti. When you have illustrations, they sometimes have a very powerful and evocative power. So I agree with you. It's in Italy, right? We don't have to look outside to different societies. It's happening in Italy. Okay, the Scarlet Letter. Okay, so this is one of the most banned book in the history. This is Demi Moore, okay, the famous actress, and she performed in the Scarlet Letter. So take a look at the different details of this picture. We have A that has been embroidered, ricamata, okay, in the dress. And the dress is awesome, right? With these shoulders, the breast is not covered, and it is full of details. Okay, we have fabrics, we have lines, we have images. So it's a very beautiful dress, right? It's not something that I would wear on my daily routine. And this is an important detail to remember. Okay. What about her her appearance? Does she look happy?
No.
No, right? She looks like reflective. She's
Yes.
reflecting on something, and she also looks worried. Do you agree with me? She looks worried about something. Okay. Ilenia, can I have your reading?
Yeah. One of the best ways to understand the classic story is to find a way to connect it with modern times. In the Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne in 1850, a woman gets pregnant and has a child with someone other than her husband. Back in the times of the Puritans, this was a big no-no.
Okay, stop for a second. The background, okay, because the novel was written in 1850, but if you read the novel, the setting, okay, l'ambientazione is 2 centuries before, during the Puritan society. Puritans were very strict in their judgment and in the way of living. So if you take a look at the Puritan women, for example, they had to wear covering completely their body. It was impossible to go against the strict regulation of the Puritans. So do you remember the word community?
Yeah.
Okay, so the community in this case is really important. And back in that time, having a relation with a person that was someone other than your husband was a big no-no, okay? So Hester, the protagonist, is doing something very powerful, going against the rules, okay?
Excuse me, what mean big no-no?
Ok, no, letteralmente è una cosa che proprio non si deve fare. Se uno ti dice, this is a big no, it means, come on, don't you dare. Ok, non usare minimamente, no. Ok, Ilenia, let's go on.
Yeah. The leaders of the community decide to punish her and send a warning to others by publicly shaming her and forcing her to wear a letter A cut from bright red fabric and sewn onto her clothing.
Okay, so we have a lot of decision. The leaders of the community, priests, okay, and people around the area of religion, they decided to punish her. How? They punish her doing 2 things. They made her wearing a letter, okay, they force her wearing a letter on her breast, okay, attached to her clothing. And the purpose, the reason is, if we punish her, we are punish the society. We are warning not to do the same to other people, okay? Quindi punire uno per punire tutti. This is the idea. Sewn vuol dire cucito, okay? Sul vestito. Okay, Ilenia, let's finish.
Even though the story was written in 1850, there is still a similar desire for the kind of public shaming and justice that took place in the story. Nowadays, we probably won't find the example of people being forced to wear actual letters on their clothing, but there are other ways that people are publicly shame for breaking laws or failing to meet social expectations.
Okay, so you know me, I always like to link literature to modern society. What can we learn from books? And in this case, it's true. We don't attach letters on the clothing, but we attach a judgment on people, right? So it doesn't make any difference wearing a letter or being physically excluded from this society. This is the same, right? It's a total mistake, and it is very difficult to bear. What do you think?
Yes, I
Yes,
agree
sure.
with what you are saying.
Okay,
Lauren.
it's terrible,
really,
right? Public
yeah.
shaming.
Yeah,
But-
public shaming with and today is stronger than before, I think, because we have the media, like social media, like Facebook, Twitter, and so on, and everything is public like this.
Yes, and it is instant, right? And it has no consequences, because if you're using a fake account, you can say whatever you want. So public shaming, slut shaming, il fenomeno dello slut shaming. Slut vuol dire puttana, ok? Quindi lo slut shaming is when you see the picture of a woman wearing a bikini, and then all the other comments, okay? Offenses and threats and comments, okay? This is even terrible than before, more terrible than before. So yes, Lucia?
During the Second World War,
War?
the government, Nazi government, forced the Jews to wear the star,
Yes.
yellow star.
And
For
also
example.
homosexual had a different label, and then people with handicaps had another label. So we are speaking about something that has happened, and we are not learning from the lessons that the history, okay, gives us or may give us. So this is still happening.
And the letter A means adultery.
Adultery, yes, adultery. Yes, adulterio. Thank you for the question, because then we will speak about A. So,
But, I think, I think that only all person,
all the people,
all the people are the Scarlet Letter on our own wear.
Yes,
So
we are always judged.
Because we labeling all person.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Because speaking honestly, we try not to judge people. In reality, we make a lot of comments, okay, on different people and on their behavior. So it's very difficult to be stopped. So if you read the book, you will find these main characters. You have Hester, and she is the main character. She confessed adulteress, and she is forced, okay, to wear the Scarlet Letter. She is the mother of Pearl. Pearl is the human embodiment of the Scarlet Letter and her parents' sin. Okay, it's interesting, right? Because Pearl is the symbol of this crime, right? Having a tangible baby who all the people can see. This is the explicit symbol of the crime. But what's the name of the baby? Pearl, something pure, something innocent, right?
Yeah.
So the writer is a master of symbolism. So he gives the baby this name, Pearl, to mean something that is untouched.
The pearl is the pearl.
La perla, vuol dire proprio perla. So something precious, something untouched, something unspoiled.
The pearl born when the ostrica.
Yes, exactly.
The
Receives.
suffers.
Yes, yes, interesting. Yes.
is the lacrima, the lacrima.
The drop, tears.
Is the drop of ostrich.
Ostrich, yeah. So this is interesting, right? Because the pearl is when some sand enters inside the shell, and then this is the sufferance, and this is like Hester's suffering. So thank you, Maria Cinzia. This is very, very suitable for what we are saying. So Hester is married, okay, with Roger. Interesting also the name. Chillingworth, ok? Chillingworth, letteralmente che fa venire I brividi, ok? Chillingworth. And what do we find? I don't want to spoil the book, that they were married, but for a specific reason, Hester moved, okay, from United Kingdom to the United States alone. And after some months, Roger was supposed to join Hester, but he never arrived, okay, in the Puritan community. So many, many years after, Hester realized that he may be dead, okay? And for this reason, she finds a new love. And who is the secret tormentor? Sorry, who is the secret lover of Hester? Arthur. Do you know what's the profession of Arthur?
Reverendo.
Yes, okay, he's a reverend. And this is the reason why the relation must be hidden. Hester doesn't want to reveal who is Pearl's father, because she wants to protect Arthur, who has a very strong role in the Puritan community, okay? So Arthur is suffering a lot. He loves Hester. He sees Hester publicly shamed, okay, for something that is precious. Love is always precious, but he doesn't want to reveal that he is the father, okay? So this is the kind of complex situation. Okay, so I've created for you these 3 slides, and in the first one we have the moment in which Hester comes out of the jail. He has been kept inside the jail, and Pearl was born inside the jail. Okay, can you imagine a woman? She was stuck and imprisoned inside the jail, and in this moment we have this person. The name of this person is Town Beadle. Lo vedete qui, Town Beadle, un funzionario della città, and he is walking with Hester because he is accompanying Hester in front of all the Puritan community, because she has to stay on a pillar, deve stare su un patibolo, tipo sopra uno stand, with the letter A for many hours, so that all the people recognize that she is being punished, okay?
Okay.
So this is the situation. Any volunteers for reading? Leggiamo un pezzettino a testa. Lara, inizi.
Okay. The door of the jail being flung open, from within there appeared, in the first place, like a black shadow emerging to sunshine, the grim and grisly presence of the town beadle, with a sword by his side and his staff of office in his hand.
Okay, so we have some words that have been highlighted in gray, because the metaphor, the color, okay, is a very dark color. In fact, the town beadle is compared to a black shadow, and it represented the dismal severity of the Puritan code of law. So we have a negative presentation, right, of this town beadle. And why do we have a negative presentation? Because the writer wants you to sympathize with Hester, right? So he describes negatively this town beadle. This helps him to create a good description of Hester, okay? So this is walking, and Lara, let's finish the description of this town beadle.
Okay, this personage prefigured and represented in his aspect the whole dismal severity of the Puritanic code of law, which it was his business to administer in its final and closest application to the offender.
Okay, so we know that this person is in charge of punishing all the people who go against the Puritanic code of law. Okay, is the situation clear?
Yeah.
Lara, let's go to the second one. And in this moment, Hester is coming outside the jail. And in colors, you have the town beadle action, okay, and he does something, okay, and from that exactly situation, you will find the reaction of Hester. In yellow, you have the actions of Hester. In green, you have the description of Hester, and then the little baby Pearl does something, red. Let's go on.
Okay. Stretching forth the official staff in his left hand, he laid his right upon the shoulder of a young woman, whom he thus drew forward, until, on the threshold of the prison door, she repelled him by an action marked with natural dignity and force of character, and stepped into the open air as if by her own free will. She bore in her arms a child, a baby of some 3 months old, who winked and turned aside its little face from the too vivid light of day, because its existence heretofore had brought it acquaintance only with the grey twilight of a dungeon or other darksome apartment of the prison.
So the town beadle is walking and he puts his hand on the shoulder of Hester and he is trying like to push her. What's the reaction?
She's scrawled.
Yes, she scrolls. She doesn't want to be touched. So this is very brave, right? A woman who just moves aside because she doesn't want to be touched. And in green, you have the description, natural dignity, force of character. And what does she do? She stepped into the open air. And she does it on her free will. Lo fa di proposito, è libera di mettersi lì e va verso l'aria, okay? So she doesn't feel ashamed. She knows she has nothing, okay, to hide and to feel ashamed for. And she is bearing in her arms a child. And the child is winking. What's the meaning of winking?
Dimenarsi.
Yes, it has to do also.
Sbattere gli occhi.
Yes, it has to do with the face, okay? Turn aside si gira letteralmente, gira la faccina, okay? E winked sbatte gli occhi because of the too vivid light. In fact, his existence, okay, so the baby Pearl has been kept inside the dungeon. So she has never been outside. So for this reason, the gray twilight of the dungeon is in gray with the same color of the town beadle. Finally, mother and daughter, they are in the open air. Okay.
Very powerful.
Okay.
Lucilla, please, second slide.
I try.
Yes, please.
When the young woman, the mother of this child, stood fully revealed before the crowd, it seemed to be her first impulse to clasp the infant closely to her bosom, yes, not so much by an impulse of motherly affection as that she might thereby conceal a certain token which was wrought as fastened into her dress.
Okay, perfect. So can you see this picture? This one, okay, with Hester holding the baby. Yes. So the mother of the child stood fully revealed before the crowd. Stood fully revealed, leggete letteralmente, si è messa lì davanti completamente rivelata alla folla. Okay, so she is not hiding, okay, she's not concealing, she is in front of the crowd. What does she do? The first impulse is to take the baby and close the baby very close to her bosom. Letteralmente prende la bambina, no? Come a stringerla verso di sé. Ok? But it's not because it's a motherly affection. Ok? Non lo fa per proteggere la bambina. And the reason is that she wants to cover the A, the token, okay, simbolo. Okay? So she is trying to hide from the crowd the letter A. But then, in a moment, wisely judging that one token of her shame would be poorly served to hide another, she took the baby on her arm and with a burning blush and yet a haughty smile and a glance that would not be abashed, look around to her townspeople and neighbors. So what's happening? Wisely judging, giudicando in maniera saggia che cosa? That one token, un simbolo, the baby, would poorly served to hide another, ok? Avrebbe poco servito a coprire l'altro simbolo. Then she does something. She takes the baby, okay, and with burning blush, she look around at their townspeople and neighbors. What personality traits are displayed here?
Strong personality.
Yes, strong personality. So the first impulse is, I'm hiding the letter. And then Hester stops for a second. She realizes, what am I doing? I have a baby in my arms, okay? What's the purpose? So I don't have to feel ashamed for this. So she shows the baby, and with her eyes, she stares at the townspeople and neighbors, okay?
Yes.
Then in this little part, you have the description of the letter A. So you have a lot of very strong adjectives, for example, elaborate, fantastic, artistically done, fertility, luxuriance, then you have splendor, then you have taste, then you have sumptuary regulation. Okay, so the letter A is beautiful, awesome. And Hester spent a lot of days creating this letter. Why do you think so? Why is she spending her time creating the most beautiful letter A possible? So she is inside the prison, she has a baby, she knows that in a few months she would be standing in front of the audience. Why do you think she spends time creating the best possible letter? Any ideas?
No, maybe because she makes it out of pride.
Yes, yes, because she doesn't want to hide. Letter A for her doesn't mean adultery. Do you know what's the real meaning of A for Hester?
Love? No.
Love and her daughter.
Yes, A stands for able, capace, okay? So the final meaning of letter A is Esther is able. She's able to be herself. She is able to defend her daughter. She's able to protect Arthur. She's able to struggle against the society. So A doesn't stand for adultery for Hester. A is I am able. I'm a strong woman, and I will show to the people how able I am, right? Ok, last part. Chi non ha ancora letto? Chi ha voglia di leggere un pezzettino?
Leggo.
Ok, please.
Try.
Yes, you try, you go, please.
But the point which drew all eyes and as it were transfigured the wearer, so that both men and women who had been familiarly acquainted with Eastern Frine were now impressed as if they beheld her for the first time. Was that the Scarlet Letter so fantastically embroidered and illuminated upon her bosom? It had the effect of a spell, taking her out of the ordinary relation with humanity and enclosing her in a sphere by herself.
Do you yes, stop for a second. Drew all the eyes, attirare gli occhi. Quindi quello che ha attirato gli occhi di men and women who knew Hester was the Scarlet Letter. So they couldn't help but noticing the Scarlet Letter, and the watching of the Scarlet Letter was a spell, and it helped Hester to be taken outside the relation with humanity, and she appeared inside a sphere by herself. So she finally realized what was her desire. She wanted to be watched, okay? She wanted people to realize that she was inside a bubble of energy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we have this picture, okay, this lady wearing a letter A and all the comments, slut, slut, and slut, is because in this case, the last two paragraphs are about slut shaming. We have the crowd, some old women, okay, are looking at Hester, and the comment is a climax of different offenses. Climax, ok, quindi una cosa che ascende, che diventa sempre più forte. We have innuendos. Do you know what is an innuendo?
No.
Maliziosi.
Sì, un doppio senso.
Commenti maliziosi.
Malizioso, esatto, un commento malizioso, il primo. Then we have an offense, and then we have a threat, una minaccia. L'innuendo è, she has got skill at her needle, that's certain. Ci sa fare bene col lago, non c'è dubbio. Quindi needle, ok? Quindi fanno il primo commento malizioso. E poi commento, brazen hussy. Brazen hussy vuol dire a woman with a bad reputation, okay? Okay, so the question is, why gossips, okay? Why is it but to laugh in the faces of our godly magistrate and make a pride out of what they, worthy gentlemen, meant for a punishment? E quindi chiedono come si permette questa prostituta, ok, questa poco di buono a ridere, laugh in the face of our magistrate, ok? Perché lo pensa come un tutto tranne che un punishment, ok? Sentite la rabbia, can you perceive the rage? Can you perceive the envy, the jealousy of these women? And then we have, it were well, muttered the most iron visage of the old dames, if we stripped Madame Hester's rich gown off her dainty shoulders. And as for the red letter, which he had stitched so curiously, I'll bestow a rag of mine own rheumatic flannel to make a fit one. Intanto viene descritta come iron visage, ok? Quindi quella con il viso più cattivo. E cosa dice? Come mi piacerebbe strappare quel vestito di dosso da quelle spalle magnifiche e riuscire addirittura a prenderle a staccarle quella lettera S quella lettera A che ha così tanto curiosamente attaccato e sostituire quel vestito con che cosa? Rag, sapete cos'è il rag?
Stracci.
Sì, degli stracci, ok, di flanella per i miei reumatismi e farne un vestito più degno di lei. Strong comments, aren't there? Right? Very strong and very angry and furious comments. And this is slut shaming. This is what the community is doing, okay, on girls. And the last slide is about memes, okay, in contemporary society, where you can find other examples of letter A. For example, we have two women, right? And the question is, are you an adulterer? Okay, sei una che ha tradito. And she goes, no, I am anti-American. I question the administration policies. So A, anti-American, okay? Then we have the second one, okay, Trump with this letter. What Scarlet Letter of impeachment? I rebranded it to irremovable, ok? Quindi sapete che c'è stato l'impeachment di Trump, quindi hanno fatto questa immagine, oppure un'altra ne hanno fatto. The worst part is that this used to be my favorite letter. This is idiot, okay? So completely different. And it was for the campaign against abortion, okay? He was campaigning against abortion. So they created this idiot, and also for the impact of global warming, okay? So he was speaking about science being not very important in the global crisis, so idiot. And then you have modern day Scarlet Letters. For example, she is a decaf drinker, ok? Quindi la stigma che c'è con chi beve il decaffeinato. C, cat hater, ok? A lei non piacciono i gatti, quindi hanno dato questo. H, still uses Hotmail, okay? That is something outdated. Then G, she wrote something grammatically incorrect on the internet, and for this reason she is not intelligent, she is stupid, so G is a letter. B, not a big Beyoncé fan, okay, so again, speaking about music, and P, doesn't really like pizza, okay, so for this reason, these are modern day Scarlet Letters. So this was more or less, okay, the idea of speaking about a strong heroine, okay, for me, she is super brave, and the reason why, again, still nowadays, in all the schools, the Scarlet Letter is read, because Hester stands out, okay, she is very very brave, very rebellious, and she doesn't let the community to put her down. What do you think? Did you enjoy the character?
Yeah, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
What do you think about this story, Lenia? Is it a good story? Do you like the behavior of Hester?
I would say I love women with strong character.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when you realize that there aren't anything to be ashamed
Mm-hmm.
of,
Yes.
is something to be proud.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't hurt anyone in your life, you can do what you want.
Yes, yes, again, self-relief, che è un sollevamento personale, self-relief when you finally are yourself.
Yeah.
And what about labels? What about other people? People always, they will always complain and criticize whatever. So let's start build our own confidence and then be strong in front of other people's eyes. Sara, what do you think? I know you read a lot, so you have other strong female characters in your mind. What do you think about Hester?
For me, Esther maybe is very brave because at one point of the book, she wants to be a symbol, and she knows that she is the only one who can protect herself, her daughter, and her lover. And she wants to demonstrate to the other that she was strong for them.
Yes. In fact, sometimes when you are strong, it's not only about you. Sometimes you sacrifice yourself for the others. And this is what Hester does. She protects him. There's an interesting scene in which all the magistrates are interrogating Hester. Give us the name of your lover. Give us the name of Pearl's father. And even Arthur is among this group. And he is watching her, staring her in her eyes, and he goes, you have to reveal the name of Pearl's father. So think about the inner difficulties of even Arthur. He loves Hester, but he also has to respect the morality of the Puritan society. So this is another interesting character, because I'm always pro-women, but also Arthur has a very strong evolution inside him, okay? Leggete perché it's interesting.
Because if I compare this book with Virginia Woolf, Virginia was more focused on herself, not to the other person. And,
yes, the part of the trauma that she has to live in her life, I think that left something missing in her confidence. She was always trying to find something else to be satisfied with. And then searching and searching and searching. While searching, she lost herself. In this case, Hester has the power of Pearl, has the power of love, and she goes till the end. Poi torna, ok, vi dico questa ma non vi racconto come finisce. Esther e Pearl se ne vanno, ok, dalla comunità puritana. E poi a un certo punto Pearl dice torniamo, vediamo cos'è cambiato, vediamo come va. E Esther decide di indossare il vestito con la A per tornare nella comunità, e quindi sfila proprio per la comunità con questo vestito, quindi proprio una forza anche nel finale, fino alla fine, insomma, per quello vi dicevo, la A evolve nel significato. Spero vi sia piaciuto, spero che troviate anche degli stimoli poi per andare a cercare curiosità, mi piace sempre farvi vedere ancora adesso, no? Si apre, si vede, si vedono queste vignette politiche e uno dice mamma mia cosa c'è, non si capiscono, non si apprezzano, e uno dice pensa a te il potere di un libro scritto nel 1800 che ancora viene utilizzato per fare ironia intelligente, che è quello che poi...
Che poi tra l'altro ancora adesso si usa dire, vabbè ma cosa vado in giro con la lettera scarlatta attaccata?
Esatto,
Cioè,
sì, sì.
cioè si usa ancora adesso?
Sì,
anche
proprio
il
queste
film comunque, se uno non vuole
film,
leggere il libro,
esatto.
c'è anche il film. Io mi ricordo il film che ho visto qualche anno fa.
L'hai visto? È quello lì con Demi Moore, hai guardato?
Sì, quello con Demi Moore, sì.
Sì, poi lei è di una sensualità che secondo me è proprio l'idea di Hester, no? La gelosia nasce sempre da questa donna che è sicura di sé rispetto a tutte le altre donne della comunità puritana, e quindi quando si vede una donna così e non si può, in quella comunità lì non si può che odiarla, no? Perché hai questa gelosia di lei ce la sta facendo, lei sta dimostrando che è, invece noi non abbiamo il coraggio, quindi attira ancora di più secondo me l'invidia.
Invidia, sì.
Così.
Infatti sono proprio le donne, quando lei è lì sul patibolo a condannarla per prime, perché sono quelle che si sentono più coinvolte in questa cosa.
Infatti mi piace l'autore, no? Perché adesso ci pensiamo, no? Quando diciamo che la solidarietà di solito non arriva sicuramente per prima da altre donne, no? Vediamo i commenti e tante volte dici, ma mia, è una mamma che sta scrivendo quei commenti lì a un'altra donna, è una donna, e ce lo scrive nel 1870, lo fa dire da delle donne. C'è questa vecchia che dice vorrei strapparle di dosso tutti i vestiti, o l'altra che appunto dice come osa andare contro questi nobili magistrati che difendono la nostra morale, e lascia veramente ancora scioccati.
Perché secondo me è perché le altre donne vorrebbero essere lei alla fine.
Esatto.
Certo, sì. Avere la sua forza.
La sua forza, perché adesso io stavo facendo una riflessione così mentre stavamo guardando questa cosa, come noi donne da anni e anni e anni, sono da quando penso che siamo nate, da quando ci hanno creato, che sopportiamo queste cose, e quindi come ci siamo rafforzate nel tempo, no? E secondo me il nostro momento storico, la nostra società sta venendo fuori questa cosa, perché la donna, per quanto possa ricevere delle cose negative, delle violenze, perché la donna è soggetta a violenza, a tante altre cose, si rivela sempre poi forte, no? Quindi supera, la maggior parte delle donne superano, trovano in se stesse e anche negli altri la modalità di superare queste cose e di rinascere, no? Invece l'uomo no. Infatti l'uomo cosa fa? L'uomo uccide, uccide i suoi figli, uccide i suoi ex amanti.
Sì, cerca di eliminare delle potenziali cause che potrebbero metterlo in discussione.
Sì.
Invece la donna lavora su di sé, no? Quando anche abbiamo tutta quella parte.
È una cosa che nasce dai tempi, cioè noi siamo sempre state abituate, forse, cioè dopo noi ce l'abbiamo nel DNA, no? E anche leggere questi libri, secondo me sono libri che ti fanno crescere, no? Cioè, sono tutti libri che ci danno una cultura della donna, no? E secondo me noi donne siamo più abituate tra virgolette, a sopportare dei pesi e anche a essere giudicate, a essere sul pubblico.
A dover dimostrare, sì, secondo me la dimostrazione, il fatto di dover sempre dimostrare qualcosa in altre situazioni che invece, esatto, per
Invece
dimostrare tutto.
l'uomo non è abituato, non ce l'ha nel DNA, l'uomo è sempre stato l'uomo forte, e l'uomo che non deve chiedere mai, l'uomo che è, e in questo momento storico dove ci sono, dove le donne in qualche modo cercano di riappropriarsi della propria libertà, della propria identità, l'uomo sta soffrendo e sta venendo fuori quello che purtroppo viene fuori, insomma, violenza.
Sono contenta di aver toccato anche corde diverse, insomma, perché quando si parla di tematiche della figura femminile nella letteratura si può cadere anche sempre nei soliti stereotipi, nei soliti cliché. Invece spero che prendiate anche queste cose completamente diverse per avere stimoli di lettura, ma anche di di andare a approfondire, di vedere se c'è qualcosa, quindi anche l'ultima lezione che faremo sabato prossimo, se vi viene in mente qualcosa che avete guardato, che avete letto, adesso dopo vi mando le dispense così le potete anche riguardare e potete anche scegliere voi un personaggio che vi ha interessato, che vi è piaciuto e ne possiamo anche discutere per concludere, no, questo ciclo di figure.
Io ho scoperto, Gloria,
Sì?
la storia che c'è dietro Wonder Woman.
Bene, ok, anche quello è un personaggio che veramente è
Non tanto
sottovalutato.
ma non lei, cioè il potere che lei aveva nei primi comic books quando è stata creata era proprio l'archetipo della donna forte, ma soprattutto la vita dello scrittore, cioè come hanno vissuto lui, lei, la moglie e l'amante, sempre insieme. Cioè loro non avevano, cioè avevano veramente una famiglia composta da 3 persone più vari figli. E come loro hanno lottato negli anni 50 per portare avanti questo amore.
Per quello vi dico che immorale, no? E etico, cioè sono tante situazioni che sconvolgono perché non sono parte della nostra normalità e quindi quando c'è l'evento diverso dobbiamo metabolizzarlo e tutte le volte ci mettiamo 100 anni. Stavo anche pensando all'HIV, che non ne abbiamo parlato, ma anche questo secondo me è una cosa a livello di società che viene stigmatizzata tantissimo, cioè ancora adesso HIV, sieropositività sono tematiche che sostengono secondo me tanto in maniera tanto forte l'emarginazione, quindi senza guardare forse tante cose diverse.
Sì, forse un po' meno rispetto a quando è partita, perché quando è partita veramente erano proprio etichettati, sì.
Però per esempio ti dico, io lavorando nella scuola, noi facciamo tantissima formazione e cultura sul razzismo, sulla tematica del cyberbullismo, sulla tematica di questo, però per esempio di sieropositività
Si è perso tutto?
non se ne parla minimamente.
E i dati sono allarmanti?
Io speravo fosse un segnale, nel senso non se ne parla perché è diventato normale, quindi quando ancora se ne parla vuol dire che ancora non è accettato. Però parlando così con alcuni ragazzi in classe di quinta superiore, quindi 18enni, 19enni, leggendo dei pezzi di letteratura sulla sieropositività, mi sono veramente accorta che c'è un'ignoranza tantissima.
Sì, non sanno niente, è stato dimenticato praticamente.
O è stato voluto dimenticare.
Su Instagram c'è una pagina che si chiama The AIDS Memorial, dove vengono praticamente postati con delle foto i ricordi di persone che sono decedute, insomma. Quindi c'è una o 2 generazioni degli anni 80-90 che sono completamente perse, cioè sono state decimate sostanzialmente. E lo stigma in realtà era anche all'interno delle comunità stesse.
Esatto.
Perché ad esempio un omosessuale americano di colore non poteva dire di essere omosessuale perché all'interno, perché poi lì vive tutta la comunità di colore non avrebbe tollerato che un uomo di colore fosse omosessuale e quindi vivevano tutti in maniera nascosta. Non
c'è razzismo nel razzismo.
Nel razzismo.
E la cosa più triste è che c'era un post di una mamma e la foto di questo ragazzino che è morto a 18 anni nel 2018. Lui è morto di AIDS nel 2018 ed è vissuto con l'HIV per 2 anni e poi è morto. Ed è morto
sono tematiche veramente...
Perché lui viveva in una comunità probabilmente rurale e ha conosciuto un uomo molto più anziano su internet e si sono visti e probabilmente non hanno usato precauzioni e lui era così pieno di vergogna per quello che aveva fatto che non lo aveva detto a nessuno e quindi ormai la situazione, quando si sono accorti insomma, che si era ammalato, era ormai troppo tardi ed è morto veramente giovanissimo, un paio di anni fa, con la mamma che gli leggeva Harry Potter in ospedale.
Sì, sono situazioni veramente terribili e per quanto io abbia rispetto di tutto quello che va fatto oggi per ricordare la giornata della memoria, si lavora su tantissime cose perché il patrimonio storico non deve essere dimenticato, a fianco ho la tristezza di rendermi conto che anche la tematica per esempio delle sindromi, la sindrome Down, E lì vedo proprio la difficoltà di accettare, di capire come comportarsi, no? C'è questo imbarazzo che per me è terribile, è peggio dell'ignoranza, perché se non sai, non sai, ma se sai e non sai come comportarti, quindi c'è questo imbarazzo, è ancora peggiore secondo me.
Un'altra cosa che secondo me viene tralasciata su noi donne, per esempio, forse perché a me tocca personalmente, è se una è madre e una no. Una donna
l'abbiamo detto prima, è vero? Sì,
Cioè,
le tematiche di questo tipo, per quello dicevo l'orologio, no? La classica domanda è l'orologio biologico, come se dovesse quello decidere o fosse quella la bussola per la strada che deve compiere una persona realizzata sì, realizzata no, raggiunto un traguardo, non raggiunto il traguardo. Quindi sono d'accordo, ci sono veramente tante diverse tematiche, le affronteremo magari in altri laboratori che secondo me stimolano anche la conversazione, il buttare idee, il confronto. Quindi vi ringrazio un sacco.
Grazie a te, Gloria.
Prossimo. Ciao Ricky. Vediamo se c'è, non so se sia andato via. Va bene, ci vediamo sabato prossimo.
Sì.
Grazie Gloria,
Ciao,
grazie.
ciao a tutti.
Veramente.
Ciao.
A tutti una buona settimana.
Ciao,
Grazie a
ciao.
tutti, ciao, grazie ancora.
Ciao.
ciao. Non so come si fa a chiudere.
Ricky?